In the quiet suburbs of Portland, 68-year-old Henry Lawson, a retired school principal, enjoyed a simple routine: morning walks, crossword puzzles, and a small handful of pills he took each day for sleep, heartburn, and occasional anxiety. But over the past year, Henry started forgetting things: where he placed his keys, the names of former students he once knew by heart, even his route home from the grocery store. Concerned, his daughter Sophia brought him to a neurologist. The shocking revelation: some of Henry's everyday medications, Benadryl for allergies, Xanax for anxiety, Ambien for sleep, and Prilosec for acid reflux, were all linked to memory loss and even dementia when used long-term. These weren't rare prescriptions. They were common drugs found in nearly every American medicine cabinet. Most alarming, Henry wasn't alone. Millions of adults unknowingly rely on these 10 types of medications: anticholinergics, benzodiazepines, Z-drugs, Ambien, Lunesta; tricyclic antidepressants, antipsychotics, statins, proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, anticonvulsants, beta blockers, nighttime pain relievers, e.g. Tylenol PM. This is the story of how a common pill bottle can quietly steal your clarity and what you can do to stop it. Henry's life took a dramatic turn one autumn afternoon. While picking up groceries, he suddenly froze in the cereal aisle. He couldn't remember why he was there or how he got there. A store employee had to help him call his daughter, Sophia. That terrifying moment became the wake-up call they couldn't ignore. Back home, Sophia dove into researching his medications. What she uncovered was staggering. Benadryl, something Henry took daily for seasonal allergies, belonged to a class of drugs called anticholinergics. These medications block a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, essential for memory and learning. Studies showed that long-term use could lead to confusion and cognitive decline, especially in seniors. But it didn't stop there. Henry's sleep issues, for which he took Ambien, were only making matters worse. Z-drugs like Ambien and Lunesta had once been praised as safer alternatives to older sleep medications. But new studies linked them to brain fog, daytime drowsiness, and higher dementia risk. His Xanax prescription for anxiety? It belonged to a class called benzodiazepines, another known contributor to memory problems with prolonged use. And then there was the Prilosec for heartburn. While it helped his reflux, it might have been blocking vitamin B12 absorption, slowly affecting his brain function. Sophia was horrified. Everything he took, trusted, FDA-approved drugs, were quietly working against his cognitive health. She scheduled a full review with his doctor, determined to find safer options. For the first time, Henry realized that the solution to his worsening memory might not be more pills, but less of the wrong ones. Just weeks after Sophia had started helping Henry taper off some of his medications, with guidance from his doctor, something unexpected happened. Henry collapsed during his morning walk. Panicked, Sophia rushed him to the ER. The doctors discovered that in the process of adjusting his beta blockers, a medication used for his high blood pressure, his heart rate had spiked. Though he recovered quickly, the incident shook them both to the core. But what stunned Sophia even more was what the attending physician revealed. Mr. Lawson is actually on 6 medications known to impair cognition, the doctor said gravely. And one of them, amitriptyline, is an old antidepressant with strong anticholinergic properties. It's often overlooked. Sophia stared at the list: Xanax, Ambien, Benadryl, Prilosec, amitriptyline, and topiramate, the last one prescribed years ago for nerve pain. It wasn't just memory loss they were dealing with. This was polypharmacy, a dangerous mix of drugs working against each other. Henry, usually cheerful and optimistic, now sat quietly in his hospital bed, a shadow of the vibrant educator he once was. For the first time, he admitted, "I thought this was just aging. I didn't know the pills were stealing parts of me." That night, Sophia cried, not from fear, but from guilt. How many times had she encouraged him to take his medications without question? This wasn't just a memory issue. It was a battle for identity, clarity, and control. From that moment on, they both vowed, no more blind trust. Every medication would be questioned, every side effect investigated. It was time to fight back, with knowledge, not prescriptions. After Henry's hospitalization, something inside him shifted. Once passive about his health, he now approached every doctor's appointment with a notebook, a list of questions, and a renewed sense of urgency. He began to realize that taking control of his mind meant more than just trusting prescriptions. It meant understanding them. With Sophia's help, Henry started reading medical journals and watching neurology lectures online. The more he learned, the more outraged he became. Why weren't patients told that over-the-counter drugs like Tylenol PM, which he had used for years, could impair memory when taken regularly? Why didn't more doctors warn about the cumulative effects of medications on the aging brain? "I thought I was doing the right thing," he told Sophia one evening, "but now I see I wasn't asking the right questions." Together, they built a new routine focused on brain health instead of symptom suppression. Henry swapped out sleep aids for nightly magnesium and breathing exercises. He replaced reflux pills with diet changes and gentle yoga. Even his anxiety improved through meditation and walking groups at the community center. The fog in Henry's mind slowly began to lift. Names came back. Old memories resurfaced. For the first time in years, he felt mentally sharp. But the greatest shift wasn't just in cognition, it was in confidence. Henry no longer saw himself as a victim of aging or pharmaceuticals. He was now an advocate for himself, for Sophia, and for anyone who had ever accepted brain fog as just getting older. And with that realization, Henry began writing a letter he never thought he'd write. To his doctor, thanking him not for the pills, but for finally listening. 5. Henry didn't stop at healing himself. With a new lease on life and a clearer mind, he felt called to do something more, warn others. Sophia helped him create a small community workshop at the local library titled Medications in Memory, What You're Not Being Told. At first, only a handful of retirees showed up, but by the third session, the room was packed. People leaned forward as Henry, once foggy and confused, now stood tall and articulate, sharing how common medications had nearly stolen his mind. He spoke about anticholinergics, benzodiazepines, PPIs, and statins, not to scare people, but to empower them. "I'm not a doctor," he told the group, "but I am a survivor of blind prescription use. You have the right to ask. You have the right to understand. You have the right to say, is there another way?" His story began to ripple. A local journalist attended a session and published an article titled, "The Pills That Quietly Steal Our Minds." Soon after, Henry was invited to speak on a local health podcast, then at a regional senior wellness summit. Sophia watched in awe as her father, once terrified of forgetting his own name, became a voice of clarity for thousands. Through his journey, Henry discovered a powerful truth. Knowledge heals, but sharing it transforms. He had gone from a man silenced by side effects to a messenger of hope, helping others reclaim their cognitive freedom. And every time he saw someone nod in realization or jot down a question to ask their doctor, he knew this was his second chance, and he wasn't wasting it. 6. A year after his terrifying memory episode, Henry Lawson had become a completely different man, not just healthier, but wiser, more purposeful. Gone were the daily pills he once relied on without question. His medicine cabinet was now filled with omega-3 supplements, vitamin B12, and herbal teas. He had swapped sleeping pills for lavender oil, nighttime journaling, and evening walks with Sophia. His energy had returned, but more importantly, so had his clarity. But Henry's greatest transformation wasn't physical. He'd gone from feeling like a passive patient to becoming an informed advocate. He read medical research every morning, joined online forums for brain health, and helped dozens of seniors build medication checklists to bring to their doctors. He began volunteering with a local caregiver support group, helping families understand how polypharmacy could impact their loved ones. The man who once forgot faces now remembered names. The man who once sat in silence now spoke up, for himself and for others. Sophia often watched her father with quiet pride. "You're sharper than I've ever seen you," she said one afternoon as they left a seminar. "I think I finally got my brain back," Henry smiled, "and now I want to help others keep theirs." His story wasn't about regret. It was about redemption. He hadn't just overcome brain fog. He had rewritten his entire narrative. Henry proved that even after memory fades, purpose can return. That it's never too late to reclaim your life, re-educate your mind, and inspire others to do the same. Because sometimes the most powerful recovery is remembering who you really are. Today, Henry Lawson stands as living proof that it's never too late to fight for your mind. What began as a terrifying slide into confusion became the catalyst for a complete transformation, not just in his health, but in his outlook on life. He didn't have to accept brain fog as part of aging. He didn't have to live in fear of forgetting the names of his grandchildren or the face of his late wife. He chose to act. And in doing so, Henry discovered something extraordinary. The true danger wasn't in the medications themselves. It was in the silence surrounding them, the quiet way they slipped into daily routines, normalized, unquestioned. But now, thanks to his story, hundreds of people in his community were asking questions, challenging prescriptions, and seeking better options. Henry often ends his public talks with a simple yet powerful reminder: don't hand over your mind without a fight. He encourages others to do what he did: review every bottle, ask why it's prescribed, explore natural alternatives, and most importantly, partner with doctors instead of blindly following them. What started as a personal crisis had become a public mission. His voice, once dulled by medications, now echoes with purpose in libraries, senior centers, and living rooms across town. Henry didn't just reclaim his memory, he reclaimed his identity, his voice, and his power. And through his journey, we're reminded: when you take your brain seriously, you don't just protect your future, you change your present. The biggest lesson from Henry's story is this: never assume that feeling foggy, forgetful, or confused is just part of aging. Sometimes it's not your mind failing you, it's what's being put into your body without full understanding. Medications can heal, but they can also harm, especially when taken long-term, in combinations, or without proper monitoring. The silence around this truth can be dangerous. But knowledge is power. You have every right to ask questions, challenge prescriptions, and seek alternatives that protect, not compromise, your brain. It's not ungrateful, it's not rebellious, it's responsible. Taking care of your brain means staying curious, informed, and involved in your own health decisions. You deserve clarity, energy, and a sharp mind. Not as a luxury, but as your right. Because when you protect your mind, you protect your memories, your independence, and your legacy. Starting today, take 5 small steps. 1. List all your current medications. 2. Research each one's possible cognitive side effects. 3. Schedule a medication review with your doctor or pharmacist. 4. Explore lifestyle-based alternatives, exercise, diet, sleep habits. 5. Share what you've learned with someone you care about. If you're unsure where to begin, start with your sleep aids or allergy meds. They're often overlooked. Use apps like Medscape or drugs.com for quick research. Bring a friend or family member to your next appointment to help advocate for you. Your brain deserves that effort, and so do you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and share with your friends. Your support keeps these stories alive. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if today's story touched your heart, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, stay well, and see you in the next story.